join me with the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we again come to you and we thank you for this time together as free people to do the people's business. Just guide our thoughts and give us wisdom to deal with the money issues at hand. And we thank you for this opportunity. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Good morning, everyone. First item up is the consent agenda, which consists of the September Auditor report, the same series transfer report, the cash balance report, and the commissary report. You should have all gotten copies of those.
Move to approve Joyce Grimble.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Is there any question or discussion on those? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Is there any public comment on any of the agenda items at hand? I don't see any public here anyway. So, money matters, additional appropriations. Sheriff Needham.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good morning. Good. How are you guys?
Good.
This is just the amount that we did last month. It's the same thing to put an SRO, a deputy in the Southmont. We're just asking that money to put back in the overtime line so we can pay deputies to cover that spot.
Okay.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning. Mary, Guidance Information Officer. This is grant money and it's just being returned back into the fund to be expended.
Oh.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions for Andrea? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. And then the coroner, I don't see him here. I know he's short some money again, so just needs additional autopsy, 30,000 is what he's asking for.
Yeah, that's.
Is that for outstanding bills or is that just for potential? Or do you know?
I asked that question and I'm gonna go with yes from his response.
Okay,
It was a little,
go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I think we've been obligated to pay for 2 autopsies that were where residents of Montgomery County died outside the county, and I think that's what it's about.
Okay.
Which we're obligated to do under statute.
Right.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Transfers. Morning, Sherry.
Good morning. Sharon Hill, Montgomery County 911, and this is a request for more funds to be put in group insurance. We're still running short in our large fund, 1235. It's a transfer from a dispatcher line, and then we'll have another request next month because we're still running short till the end of the year.
So is it just, we were off on the budget amount or just different amounts or what's?
Do you want to elaborate on that at all? It's the one, Jen, if you remember, that was reduced to pass the state.
The salaries went up. We had already advertised. We never refilled that line.
Okay, so we had taken some out of that line to cut.
we had taken some money out last budget season to cover payroll increases. So this is just refilling the line as we go. I didn't realize we hadn't done that. Sorry, Sherry. That's the reason my face was.
It just wasn't okay.
Okay, there you
All right.
go.
All right, thank you.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
How we doing on staffing, Sherry?
One short.
One short?
Hold on. My trainers have been training all year and they're tired. We have one
I
more
bet.
trainer.
Next one is Superior Court 2, obviously I'm not here for that, but paying claims out of the law clerk for office supplies. Is that basically it? Okay.
I don't, the law clerk line hasn't been touched for anything else, so we
Right.
just moved money out of it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions on that? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And Sheriff's back.
Good morning again. We have an employee that's looking to leave probably at the end of the year. There's some issues that are driving that. I don't know if you recall, we've had two process servers for a very long time. And we've dissolved one of those positions, so we've been down to one for about the last 2 years. The process server is the one that's looking at leaving. We would like to get somebody in there for a couple months to learn everything that he has to do. There's a lot of different types of papers that we serve, a lot of different entries into the computers. Basic just subpoenas to protective orders that require additional documentation. And it's what, I certainly don't know it. Those guys do their job. So we'd like to take some of the excess money that we have left over in the captain spot. We still have that position unfilled. So we can take some of that and put that in so we can hire a second process server for a short amount of time and not require any additional money. The money that's left over in that captain pay line will still fund a new deputy that we're getting ready to hire within next month.
Okay.
So that's what I'd like to do with that.
Does that request include impers and benefits, anything else that would be involved?
That's simply the salary line.
Yeah. So we'll be okay on the other lines too?
I would think just with the turnover from the jail.
Yeah.
That we constantly have, and I'm guessing I had an email this morning, so I know we're at least 2 short in the jail, so I would think between those vacancies that I have within the jail would cover any of that, additional money needed on the back end for that.
I move approval.
Yeah, when,
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions for Sheriff Needham?
Going to have issues finding somebody to fill this position?
No, we've advertised for it. I think we have 4 or 5 applications right now. I think it closes it Thursday of this week. We look to start doing interviews next week to get that filled.
Okay. I assume is that Laren that's retiring?
Yes.
How long has he been? He's been there for,
He said the best case scenario, he would stay until February, which would give him 37 total years. Which obviously, he's been there.
Been a long
36
time,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate his service.
He's the longest serving, but certainly in our department, he's the longest serving member in our department.
I would think so. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks. Clerk has a transfer from one court deputy to another, it looks like.
Good morning, Sergeant Secretary. Just need to transfer some money. You guys were to kind of give us the part-time split, and one of our part-time people due to maternity leave kind of took on more hours than we expected, so just shifting a little bit of that part-time money from one of those line items to the other line item. I think it's right at $700.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
A motion and a second. Any other questions for the clerk? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then commissioners, we got to transfer some money. Oh, there you are. Okay.
We're Joyce, Commissioner's Assistant Commissioner's Office. Yeah, we need some money. We're kind of run short for the wellness clinic, which is our employee clinic. And we're about, it runs about $19,000 a month. So we are short to run through the end of the year. And the next year's budget reflects all the monies that we need to cover it. We won't have to spend additional next year.
So we just miscalculated for this year or just increased?
Middle of the year.
Oh, okay, increase in the middle. Okay.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions for Lori? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And last but not least, Mindy.
We have a request to
I think
move
that's
some funds from a property deputy position that was empty for a few months into the part-time line. She worked more part-time because we were short a property deputy. So we're just short in our part-time line this time. And Steve, to answer your question a little bit better from earlier, when it's one pay line to another pay line, the in-person and those types of benefits are reduced from the one, so it's usually enough to cover the second. Does that make sense? Okay.
All right. I'll entertain a motion unless there's any questions.
Move to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, reductions. We like reductions.
I'll just handle all of these if you
Okay,
want. Yep. We asked the department heads for reductions. Most of them came in county general. That was our main focus. As you guys know, any reduction to appropriations this year adds to our cash balance for next year. So the department heads came in big time. We ended up with $487,282.49 in reductions. Some of that is health. I think it's about $19,000 is out of the health fund, which is also helpful because it is a levied fund. But I wanted to personally thank all of you for getting those into us so quickly and more than expected. So thank you. I will say that 225 of this, there's a few council items on here. 225 was your special appropriations line that you have left over. 5,500 is a special legal that you haven't used, and 575 is what's left in your dues and subscriptions line. Those are the three council ones that I added.
Okay. I guess the only concern with the council, the special appropriations, is the potential using that for radios, or are we going to find, I mean, this wasn't discussed beforehand, so.
Yeah, if you want to take that one off, we can approve this and submit less than what we've approved, if that makes sense. We can't submit more than what we approved, but we can go ahead and add it, and if we don't get the money elsewhere,
Okay.
we can
Let's
use
remove
that.
that
Let's go ahead and
one
remove
for
it, okay.
now, and then, just so we've got that option available.
Yep.
All right. First of all, I want to thank all the department heads for going through all this and looking at your budgets and kind of cleaning that up and giving us some opportunity to save quite a bit of money for the county. And we can take this all as one. I'd entertain a motion to accept all these reductions other than the council special appropriations line. Have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions or discussion on that? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. The first item, just very quickly, the November council meeting falls on a holiday, which Veterans Day. So we had a conversation in our administrative meeting about moving it to Monday at 9 a.m. right after the commissioners meeting. Does that work for everybody? Monday the 10th, 9 a.m.
Today your property taxes are due too.
Oh, joyful, yeah. So I'll be in a real good mood that day. The motion, yeah.
I'll make the motion that we move the November meeting to November 10th at 9 a.m.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or concern on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Sheriff Needham, you're back up. We're going to discuss this radio situation. I know this has kind of been a quick turnaround for you, trying to get information, but what do you got?
Nothing new.
And by mobile, you mean car radios, right? Okay. And their portables are currently suitable for that as well,
They are suitable.
to make them
Outdated.
encrypted? Understand.
They're gonna be a lot more, so.
Right.
Our portables will work, with the new technology, there's no issue there, moving forward. They're just outdated, so if we have a portable break today, we've got to buy a new one.
Right.
It can no longer be repaired. This just covers the in-car radios.
Okay. So I guess just to clarify for people that aren't aware, the mobile radios, at least on the county side, you guys tend to use those more the farther out you go because they're a little more powerful. Is that correct?
Yes,
Or
they're more powerful. I mean, the issue we have now, I mean, with what the city did, a few months ago, if somebody's driving off duty, most of our in-car radios are 20 to 25 years old, so they're outdated. So if there's something dispatched or there's something going on within the city, our guys got to take care of that. And the issues that we've had recently, we would just like to upgrade our technology as well.
Sure.
To prevent further issues.
what kind of time frame are you looking to get this done? Or
You know what, when I talked to Jim from, well, it was formerly Raycom, they've been bought out, so I don't recall the new name. He said they're moving a lot quicker now. But I don't know what that means. 4 weeks, 8 weeks, I'm not sure.
understood, yeah.
Nothing's been ordered. I told him, the meeting was today, and I would get with him after today. I can't give you a good timeline.
Okay.
I mean, I would guess 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Is probably what I'm looking at.
Okay.
And that's installable, the price.
It does not include installation. I think most of it will be plug and play, where we can, handle most of that. And then the cars that are due to be replaced, they'll just wait until January or February and get that new technology installed in.
And what's the warranty on these? Any idea? How long?
Standard, Motorola warranty. They're pretty durable. I mean, most of ours are 20+ years old, so, that gives you a pretty good idea.
What are our payment options?
So as we just said, I'd kind of want to preserve that special appropriation of the council money just to have that option. And then I think somebody mentioned, who was it, Gary? I think, did we talk about the CCD money, potentially using that as well?
That's the most restricted fund we can pull out of. And that's what, it's Ray Booth. That was Jeff Peters' recommendation. It is the most restrictive fund, and you use those funds first because they are channeled into specific things that you have to, whereas if you use county general money, it's good for any legal purpose. So it gives you a lot more flexibility.
Well, are there any other commitments on that CCD money that, right now, that we've got, that we're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. We had also talked about the RDC money, and we're going to discuss that at the 11 o'clock meeting. So possibility of getting that back. But Jeff Peters did say that he felt we could cover it out of CCD, if that's the way you guys want to go.
I'd make a motion that we go ahead and do that. Buy the radios, pull it out of CCD and do it in this year's business. Can we do that? Auditor?
I'll second it. Brett Kading.
So we have a motion and a second to fund the project out of the CCD fund. Is there any other questions or discussion for the sheriff? All's in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Make it happen. There you go.
Sheriff, I do have a question. On your portables, if we were to replace those, what kind of money are we looking at? Round numbers.
3 to 5,000, I think.
The new ones have so much more technology. One of the issues that we face, like when we go into schools or like Newport, the big businesses, we often lose signal in those places.
Sure. Well, the thing that we might suggest is, in the next few months, maybe look at a, I don't know, 3-year plan, 5-year plan on those. I don't know. It gives us something to think about. Not saying we will, but kind of see where we're at. That maybe it's something we can do over the next few years. Replace it. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Next up is ordinance 2025-2, final reading of the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund expense, and Dan can elaborate.
Yes, each year, in order for the recorder to use part of her perpetuation fund to pay for expenses outside of the maintenance of her equipment, she must certify to you that she has sufficient funds in her perpetuation fund, which would allow her to expend the money for her staff, salaries, and other expenses. She has done that certification. This is second reading of the ordinance, and this approval of this ordinance will allow you then to do so in your budget.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any questions about that? Again, this is just a routine thing we do every year. All's in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and budget adoption hearing for the solid waste management district budget. Do we have a copy of that in my?
Sorry, Mindy Byers, Auditor, I guess. It is in the version 5 worksheet that I sent
Okay.
you.
Okay,
If you
so it's in there. So.
Yeah, if you scroll past.
And we just have to approve that as that we've received it as a separate budget. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah, we looked at it.
We looked at it last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Thank
okay.
you. My words are hard for me today, I guess, so, thanks. But the solid waste is looking at a $156,000 budget, which is up from $107,000 last year.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion on that?
Is this working out for the county? I mean, there's a lot of turmoil with the West Central system, and we were always time back and forth with them, but is this doing what we want to do? I mean, we used to have a council member.
Matt Nelson's on the,
Huge complaints, or?
Not really, I mean, Lori, what's Crawfordsville doing on their part of it?
What are they doing?
Yeah, they're staying in, right, paying?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So this is all the recycling centers and everything, and adding and moving.
Okay. We had the motion in a second, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Got sidetracked. I apologize. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And then 2025-3, this is our budget?
actually, no, that we're still in that, the next thing. We're doing a budget adoption hearing for the county budget.
Oh,
So
okay.
we need to look at the county budget.
Gotcha. So the county budget.
So I thought the easiest way to do this was just show the changes that we all spoke about, just make them, I'm gonna start with Monday, and again, these, for the department heads, it's just the days you presented. I kept it that way because it was easier to follow your notes. So if it's not highlighted in yellow, it didn't get changed. The first change we made was in, PSAP lit. There are 3 line items that cover part of Mike Davis's budget and his benefits. Mike Davis is wholly covered by the commissioner's budget, or by the county general budget. At one point, when CCC was well-funded and county general was struggling, the decision was made to have CCC refund county general part of his salary. Now it's flipped. CCC is well-funded, or I'm sorry, general is well-funded and CCC is struggling. And there's really no reason to refund county general from lit PSAP. He's been covered under there. It's kind of a double hit on the budget, actually. So we just reduced those to 0, if you want to talk about that at all.
Yeah, Mike, you good with that? Okay, good, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. Okay, let's move on. Aerial photography, back to Mike. We just moved, he has a secondary fund, a mapping fees fund that has $67,752 in cash balance, and he moved almost all of his budget to that fund to help eat on that. Thank you. But we did have an aerial photography line still in county general. It was $39.94, and we're just asking to move that into the mapping fee fund. So reduce county general by $39.94, and we'll increase the mapping fee. The reason you don't see the increase in the mapping fee is we did not advertise that amount. We can't adopt for over, so we'll just have to come back and do an additional for that $39.94 and $49.15. Okay. Is that okay with you, Mike? I mean, you understand what we're doing? Okay, thanks. I'm going this way just so I don't get caught up on anything. It was yellow to the side. Sorry, it was just a note to myself. I'll just show everybody so nobody wonders. I was just putting what was included in that because we had moved some other things in other places. So disregard that yellow. Next, we have the commissioner's budget, and I'm going to quickly go through these. I had highlighted the intern line at 10,000. I feel like we discussed this because it wasn't used this year, but I don't remember who asked me about that. So you can keep it in at 10,000 or reduce it to 0 since it hasn't been used. I don't know if that was intentional or if they're planning to use that. Okay. So that was the line we talked about. We did change the group insurance line. We adjusted those, group life insurance. The HSA line was adjusted for the number of employees being covered out of county general. Workers' comp was adjusted down. Inmates and institutions, as well as burial soldiers, both came down. We have a note out about the cell phone, but that was just a general note. And then we did ask, they had requested $563,000 in contractual services. We asked for them to break that out into what it's actually being used for. So now we can see contractual services for like 4-H rent and safe hirings at 13.5. The grant match for CCMG is in there, 393, 394, and a property cleanup line for 50,000, and that did bring that line down about $100,000. And then we adjusted down insurance, ADA, Valley Oaks, and attorney fees. That was all in the Commissioner County General budget. Thank you guys for working on that. We reduced IT. The IT budget, we took $60,000 out of equipment and we're moving that into CCD. And the firewall line was reduced. I think Windows 10 is being, there was an increase in the IT budget, and it had to do with Windows 10 going, not being supported any longer, and they're going to have to move us all up.
And Mindy, since Brett Kading, since we're on the IT, Any update on guts or the IT issues on that?
We are holding on that for right now. We're gonna talk to both vendors. There may be a delay in the start of that project.
For everybody that doesn't know, there's been an issue with some of the counties and guts, and that may put us in a issue where if there does have to be changed, then we'd have to look for another company. So that's why I was asking about that.
And then in the CCD budget, you see where we've put in a line to add the 60,000 that we removed from IT. Again, we will have to do an additional appropriation for that because it wasn't advertised that way. But they did that in order to help relieve the general fund. And the last few things that I have highlighted, actually the RDC local program grant shouldn't be highlighted. The contractual services, the 500,000 in the non-TIF general fund is not supported by that cash balance. So, but we're gonna have a discussion about that in the RDC meeting at 11. So, for right now, it's not relevant to the adoption today. We can move that down, and it's not going to affect, it shouldn't affect adoption today. Tuesday's meeting, which would be all of the, so that was Monday, so that would be everybody who reports to the commissioners. So everybody who reports to the commissioners knows what you're looking at now. The department heads that don't report to the commissioners and the elected officials, that day's budget. Oh. There were three departments that had longevity in their line. I removed those because that's being covered by the council. So that's what you're seeing there. The three courts all have a law clerk line at $10,000. It was discussed, this line hasn't been used in a long time by any of the courts. It's usually put in for $10,000 and then moved or appropriated, transferred to a different line. So there was discussion on removing the law clerk lines for all three courts, which would be $10,000 each or $30,000. I didn't. She asked if anybody had spoken to the courts about it.
No, we need to talk to them first, obviously, before we make that change.
Okay.
I was out of town last week and I did not have time to call them, so I apologize.
No, that's fine. But they haven't used this line in, I don't even know how long.
I definitely want to speak for the courts by any means. Do you know if they have a separate line for their intern? Because I believe that's where they pay their intern.
Well, then it should be paid out of an intern line, but I don't.
Well, it'd be a law clerk would have to be though.
Yeah, they haven't used this law clerk line in years. They literally use it to transfer funds out of. But, yeah. And we did take out a $5,000 line for unappropriated from the clerk. That was an error, and we were asked to remove that. So we had a note or a highlight here for pretrial diversion special equipment, what that was being used for. That's also a fund that has a hefty cash balance. We could always move some of their appropriations into that fund. may be it. Let me. Yeah, that is it for the changes that were discussed. If anybody has any.
The only comment I would make, I know you talked about the RDC fund a couple of times. I would like to see them keep some funds. I don't have an interest in moving all that money back in, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the last request that I had talked about or suggested was paying for the radios out of that and letting them keep it was like $250,000 or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
But.
Yep, okay, thanks.
Gary Booth. The RDC fund, they have to vote to return that money.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
It would require.
well, it looks to me like you can zero that line because RDC is not asking for any money. And they'll probably return half of what they have. That would be probably the most likely thing that'll happen.
So zero out the
Yeah,
appropriation?
because we're not, as a council, they're not gonna ask for any money, so we don't need to appropriate any money for them.
If they want to spend it, it would need appropriated.
They have 430,000 in that line today, and they don't have to give any of it back, do they?
No, but if they want to spend it, they have to have that appropriation.
So then it would be reduced to like 230 or something like that then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, whatever you guys decide, I would suggest you
Well,
match that appropriation.
I'm asking questions too, because after
Yeah.
this meeting is an RDC meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna discuss that very thing.
Yeah, I would just say whatever you end up doing from the RDC meeting, we match whatever cash balance would be left to that appropriation.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the most likely thing.
yeah.
I can't speak for the whole board. Well, that's the way they feel. Yeah, the issue is, and they have no particular plan today as to use that money, but you never know what tomorrow brings. And by the time you wait for the council meeting to come and request it and get it all done, it takes quite a bit of time, and then it gives some money to get things moving.
Yeah, Gary makes a good point. I mean, we're not talking about cash, we're talking about spending authority. So if you zero out the line, then they can't spend any of the money, even though they have a cash balance of $400 and some thousand. And the purpose of that money, as you recall, which was when the temper opportunity came, the RDC had no money to do studies and get things started very, very quickly. That's why they asked that money from you, that authority to spend, that appropriation was so they could act more quickly. But remember that we shouldn't mix cash and appropriation because they're two different concepts. This is spending authority you guys are voting on today, appropriations. So even though they have money, you're not giving them any new money. The appropriation just says that next year they could spend the money they already have. That's really what that is. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, so Gary, you're saying to match the appropriation to the amount that they currently have.
Well,
But then you may change that at the next meeting,
yeah,
at your
I think
meeting.
probably that's what'll happen, is they'll reduce half of it.
Okay.
You'd like to have a little money there to be able to.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But yet, because this year we haven't spent near what we had.
Right.
Have no particular plan, that reducing it made sense.
Okay.
Some of the questions that I had, we've gone over most of them. So the Mike Davis, commissioners did approve this morning to move the Cambridge rate to 5.85 cents. That matches the Peters plan, and we also matched that when we were doing our numbers. This right now keeps the raises at 3%. And we have the intern line being kept at 10,000. I did have one question on the longevity. Are we including elected officials in that?
years? Have we traditionally? Or?
We used to, and then in the last year's plan, we did not. It equals 26,500, which should be fine in the line that you have set out for longevity. But it just wasn't addressed this year, and I remembered it in the shower. So. We didn't last year, but we have in the past. So.
It was part of your compensation plan you did, that was an issue that came up, and you guys took it. You can do whatever you want.
I've been asked, so that's.
Didn't do it last year, but did it before, and how many years before that?
I can't answer that.
I
Do you
mean,
know,
it's,
Jen?
part of the pay for a long time.
Do you know how long we've?
It's been over 8 years.
Well,
Since they had
it was built into the salaries prior to the new compensation plan. So we used to do it, I mean, the whole time I've been here. So at least 10, 15 years, we did it, and then we took it out last year when we separated it.
Okay. And did you put that you say that's in here now, or no?
It would be covered under the line that you have currently.
Okay. I guess personally, I feel like something we ought to do. You guys were on the pay committee. What are your thoughts?
Are you gonna do it off of how many years they've been in the elected position, or the position from how long they've been employed with the county?
Traditionally, it's been just like an employee, how long they've been with the county.
Okay.
But you, like Dan says, you can do whatever you want to do.
Well, I guess for now, the money's there, so we don't necessarily have to decide how we're gonna do it, but we need to nail that down pretty quick, though. So, okay.
Yeah, it might be,
It's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
yeah, and it might be something we run by Addie and just see what, go with it. Okay.
Having people stay and work.
Oh, that's important, yeah.
Well, that's true, and being able to keep it at a 3%, like you and I talked about. I think if we can keep the raises at 3,
Yeah,
I
we've
think
set that
that's
back. We set that back to 3.
positive
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and talking with Dan here, we can go ahead and vote on this budget, and it can still be reduced after the adoption, like I say, once we know what RDC wants to do and that kind of thing. I will talk to the judges, just so we don't blindside them, but I'm in favor of removing that clerk line too, to save some $30,000, but.
And Mindy, I got, the Cume Bridge went back to where it was at the year before. Is that where?
Cume Bridge went to 585 this morning.
Okay, so it went down to where
It
it was
wasn't-
last year.
Yeah,
And-
well, last year I think it was at 5.5 cents, yeah.
Okay,
So it's up a little bit from last year, but it's down from what they had set it at 7.5 cents. They reset it every year, so.
right. And Jake, you're good with what's coming up? Okay, okay.
Gary, you got your finger on the launch code
Yeah,
there.
can we
What's,
see that summary between last year and this
Yeah.
year? I'd just like to see it.
This,
I got,
okay. On county general or?
yeah,
This one?
yeah. Put it up there.
This is by department, so, is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and that's with all the changes that,
Yes, sir.
can you make that small enough I can see the bottom of it?
Yep. I don't know, hang on. You want to see the bottom? Let me make that bigger, so. So the 2026 budget right now is 17, $17,032,748, which is up 11% from 2025.
The one you sent the other day, this says 16,000.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What'd you change? It's different than what you have projected
Right.
on the screen.
Yeah, I was just. Say what?
I got 8%.
Oh,
When you broke out the commissioner's line?
yeah, when I broke out the commissioner line, it jacked it up a little bit. Hang on just a second. This is, well, that's saying 17,032. What did we just change?
The 16 million is not capturing the new commissioner line.
Yeah,
So that's why it was that, that's why I said the 16 million before. So we fixed it.
okay. Checking now. Okay. The original one I sent out, sorry, I forgot about that, wasn't capturing some of the changes that we made with the commissioner budget. So this is the most up-to-date number with the current changes.
So what I'm looking at, version 5, that you sent out, last Wednesday, I think? So it's been changed since then?
Yes. Only in the background. The calculations weren't adding in some of the things that we changed from the commissioner's budget.
Can I see just the county general
Yeah,
tab? Not by department, yeah, that one.
yeah.
Because the one I had was negative 476,000. So it changed $1 million?
I wish I had that old one. Hang on just a second. Is it $1 million that we changed? Go ahead if you want.
Friday afternoon, after we were done with all the meetings with you guys, we went through the spreadsheet and just balanced everything. And I noticed that, and I put it in the other two systems that we have to put all these budget lines into. And when I did that, I realized that the new lines in the spreadsheet that you guys had originally received, the new lines for that when we broke out all that stuff for the commissioners, you know, they were originally asking for what, 560-some thousand in one line called contractual services. We changed that and then added the grant match and the property cleanup lines. And when we did that, those two new lines didn't get added into the formula. So nothing has changed in the individual lines. She just went and cleaned up the formula so that they were included.
How much did the commissioner budget go up last year, this year?
Yeah. It went up 19%.
Yeah, but dollar-wise, how much?
$6,679,600. Well, no, what did it go up? Hang on. It went up, yeah, about $1 million.
Because I know, looking at all the departments, I think departments did a good job this year. Most of the increases was 3 to 4%. So the lion's share of the increase is in that commissioner's budget, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I know a lot of the changes, you can help me here, Lori, but a lot of the changes was, like, we used ARPA funds and things like that before for things, and now it got transferred to county general.
Yes, and you have to remember, in-person security and all that, that's all paid out of the commissioner's budget.
Right,
So it's not an increase that the commissioners are spending.
right,
This is for everybody. And then most of our budget, yeah, are for contractual services.
right,
And of course, insurance has gone up, and we pay commercial insurance for the departments, and we pay, workman's comp. So those increase every year, and, this one, they said a 20%, but we dropped it down, hoping it won't be that high. That was our high number last year, so we dropped it some, just keeping our fingers crossed.
right, yep.
We did ask that they increase their group insurance line by quite a bit. If you see, it's historically been conservatively budgeted. And a lot of times we have to come back and ask for an additional, knowing that additionals are going to be scrutinized a little bit more. We did, the auditor's office did ask the commissioners to make that a more realistic number. So that 1.6 million might be a little high, but it covers us from it should cover us from having to come back. And it's based off the employee count that we have today and our best guesstimates as to what they're gonna request. So there are some things in there that we have asked them to come up. The other thing is that CCMG line, I mean, that's almost 400,000, so it's a lot when you look overall.
So as the two of you look at this budget, I mean, what's your comfort level? Money coming in, money going out?
We're gonna eat into the cash balance a little bit, but I think with everything we have going on, I'm comfortable with moving forward with it. I mean, you're free to speak if you want.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
We're at, I mean, everybody knows this. We're having growing pains. I mean, let's face it, the county we're moving and shaking, and we have a lot of things going on. And yeah, it's gonna eat into our cash balances here and there, but I think that the final product of all of that is going to be beneficial enough that it outweighs that. So that's my take on it.
The only thing I would add is, like, and I said it before, it's been really easy to say yes in the past for additionals, and this year I think we really need to look at each of those carefully and be careful on what we ask for. But I mean, we have looked at this budget and scrutinized this budget more than we have in a long time. So, and we're fairly close. The only thing that's different between our numbers and Jeff is the overall budget itself. And I like you said, I think the department heads did a fantastic job staying within the 4% growth quotient. The exception to that is the commissioners, and I think they're just faced with things that no other department has to deal with. So just those overall costs. So I do think we're going to eat into cash balance, but I think we're healthy enough, and if we're careful just moving forward, that we'll be okay. We've gotten ourselves into a position that we can support some of these projects that are going on and stuff, and that's what we needed to do. That's what the intention was. You need to stay out a rainy day. I said you need to stay out a rainy day. I would, at the end of this year, I'm going to ask again that we put some money into rainy day. We have not done that this year. When we know what we're going to get back in settlement, I think we need to take a serious look, put some into rainy day, and keep people out of it, if all possible, and keep it for a true rainy day, because we don't know what's coming in the next 5 years with this SCA one. We have no idea, and I know that the last time I looked at our rainy day funds, we were one of the lowest levels in the state of Indiana as far as balances in that fund, and I think it could save us potentially down the road. So it's kind of my little baby project. I want to get rainy day funded back. So.
Couple of questions.
Mhm.
On the group insurance,
Yes.
do I read it's advertised 1.53? And the
Yes.
budget is 166?
Yes.
You can raise that after publishing it? Or after
I
advertising?
believe we snuck that in just before publishing. No?
What they are concerned about when you publish is the overall amount in the fund. And since the council decreased their special appropriation lines by, I don't know, 700 and some thousand,
Oh, yeah.
then that gave us a little leeway in some of the other lines. So the overall amount of the general fund that got advertised is still higher than what we're going to adopt or what we're planning to adopt. So it's fine.
Another question I had, the courthouse, those offices, and not that they don't need it, but they all seem to be loading up on furniture money in the budget. Isn't this new building program paying for some furniture? Isn't that part of it?
We do not.
Not that I know of.
Just bricks and mortar.
Just the bricks and mortar and paint? Okay, just wondered about that.
Lot to process. Any other questions or comments?
The only other thing I know, meeting with Jen and Mindy, they commented that there is some conservatism in some of the numbers. I mean, don't you feel? Yeah, okay.
Yep,
Okay, thanks.
unapologetically.
No, rightfully so. Like I say, I appreciate Mindy and Jen's work on all this and meeting with all the council members coming in, meeting with them to kind of go over this a little more detail than we have in the past. Again, to the department heads, thank you for all your hard work and keeping things in check as much as possible. I know things go up and expenses happen, and as we saw with the insurance, I know the commissioners, that's the big hit. Insurance everywhere is going up. I know mine and my business has too, so that's kind of part of it. So I guess at this point I'll call or entertain a motion to adopt the Montgomery County budget for 2026 with the thought that there will still be some reductions once RDC makes a decision and some others probably.
And you want me to go ahead and put the 30,000 back in the law clerk line, or do you want me to keep that at 0? We can reduce it if you want to put it back in.
Go ahead and leave it in there for now, and then
Okay.
I just would prefer to talk to them first.
No,
Yep.
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget as proposed with the changes of the courts.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions, or concerns?
I'd like to see it after we get all these changes in, what the RDC decides. You know, we're talking about some serious money with all that going on. It's just my opinion.
Right. We can adopt the budget today, but then still reduce line items out of there. Like I say, I'll talk to the law clerks, and we'll get that 30,000 potentially back, and then whatever the RDC decides, that'll be another reduction. So,
Would you like to go ahead and send out this last version to us too?
Yes.
I appreciate
I'll
that.
do it with all the changes that we just discussed. And then whatever comes of the RDC meeting, I'll send it out to you.
okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. And then ordinance 2025-3, the final reading of the Montgomery County Appropriations Ordinance. And we did this last month.
Yeah, we
So
It's with changes now, so it would just
With
be.
the changes, yeah.
So you're gonna vote on the same thing? This is just your
Yeah.
appropriations. You've approved the budget. This is actually just a formality, but you're now adopting an ordinance which contains those appropriations.
Okay,
Second.
got a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Moving on, any funded organizations? Nope. Department heads? Nope, okay. Elected officials?
I will say, I'll go back. It takes some, I have to put a bunch of stuff into Gateway to get the sheets that need to be signed for the budget adoption and then the appropriation ordinance. Once I get that complete, I will print that out or get it sent out to you, but I also need each of you to stop by the office. I will text you when that's done. Will hopefully be this afternoon. And then we have to the end of this week to get that finally uploaded and submitted to Gateway. So, if you can't come back this afternoon, that's fine, but we have to have each of you come in, at least a majority of you come in and sign that by the end of the week. But I'll text you that detail when I'm ready.
Okay. Any other, oh, Sheriff, he's back again.
Just good news.
Okay, that's always good.
I just want to let you guys know, the jail roof should be done this week. They're flying along with that, and I think it's going to be a lot better, and they're doing a great job. Henry and I went up there last week. It's night and day difference from what was on there to what they're putting on and how they're doing it. So hopefully it's going to be leak-proof for years to come. All of us are in this room. I know it will be for me, but I hope it is for you guys as well. So it should be done next week, or the end of this week, and I'll share that information with you once it's all complete.
Okay.
They've had perfect weather.
Yeah.
They've had absolutely perfect weather to do this, so
All right.
that's all I got.
Thanks for the update. All right, we'll start down there with you, Mr. Gating.
First of all, I want to thank the department heads, elected officials for what they did. I know it's a tough thing to go in and do that, and it's very appreciative. We appreciate it. I do want to ask Mark Bonwell, since he's here, a question about the courthouse and how it's coming along. And I've had a few people ask about maybe when the scaffolding and stuff might be coming down. So if you give us an update. I know you're probably not taking it down, but if you need help, I'll help. I'll come help you.
Well, actually, we're on the downturn on the high part of the roof. The roofing is basically done. There's a few cleanup items to do. And we've asked them to do a couple little flashing areas that weren't on the program originally. So the scaffold is scheduled to start coming down on the 20th of October, which would be 2 months past when it was supposed to come down, but that's how things go on these old buildings. So the exterior, once the scaffolding's down, they'll be working on the stone on the exterior, on the things like that. So they're not done. They have no need, because the cornice is now on the upper area, the toothing, the metal part of the overhang. That's all on. It's been painted, and they're just doing some cleanup items now, capping some cupolas with roofing, and just more flashing in some areas. So, and it's all copper flashing, and they bend all of that themselves. So, and then they solder it together. So it takes a little time. The gutters have all the downspouts have been cleaned with camera, so we know they're all clear. Witness water coming through them, so they're all clear. We have capped those off with a wire cage up top, so we won't have things coming. Well, obviously small particulars can get in there, but two of the downspouts had metal hangers down in the gutter, which was part of the clog. So those have all been extracted. We have wire cages on those. So all in all, we're getting a sealed up building. No openings for any birds, which we do have bird problems, as you know. So that's done. On the interior,
Yeah, thanks, folks. You did a great job this year. Motocross and Nations, I know several of you have been involved for a year on the planning of that, and that was just an awesome event for our community. You know, the folks from other countries have to be happy with the reception that, you know, Montgomery County and Crawfordsville gave them. The parade, I couldn't believe the parade. Went out to the race on Sunday and how smooth things went. So, yeah, it was good. Thanks for all your work. Just thinking out loud here, I know the roads are a priority now for the commissioners, and I think they're high on our radar screen. I don't know if it'd be worthwhile maybe thinking about a study group. Few council commissioners, probably Mindy, Jake, and Tom, and Jeff Peters, and maybe looking at how we can fund these roads over the next 3 to 5 years. So just a thought, thinking out loud. So thanks.
Thank you for all your hard work. Auditor's office, your hard work. And council, how hard you worked on this budget. I appreciate it. It's hard work and takes a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Mindy and Jen. You know, you got numbers out good early for us, so appreciate it.
Ditto, 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 ditto. The race thing was awesome, and I know the behind the scenes, you may have had headaches, but we didn't see it. So if there's fun stories, you could share them, though.
Yeah, they kind of stole all my thunder. Obviously, thanks to you, everybody, and again, Sheriff and Jessica and Sherry and all your staff. Thank them for us for the Motocross of Nations. I know that was a big effort and a big push on all sides, city, county, and the cooperation, state, and I know federal assets and everybody else that was involved in that. So that was a big deal, and it's much appreciated. And I will say that was probably the wildest parade I've ever seen in Crawfordsville. So. Yeah, it was. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to play Tom for a minute. Joyce had a birthday yesterday.
Last week.
Okay.
Last week.
Well, happy birthday.
Not having any more, though. Thank you. Not ever. No, I can't say that. That's not a good thing.
All right, moving on. Any public comment? Last item here, approval of claims. Mr. Taylor and Mr. Peters always like to be paid every month for some reason, so I'll entertain a motion for those two claims.
Move to approve. Second.
You guys sort that out. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And our next regular meeting will be on the 10th at 9 a.m. Right here after the commissioners meeting. And with that,
Move to adjourn.
there we go. Thank you all. I got some signatures for everybody, so hang on.